and welcome to episode 7 of USA Battle Royale. Apologies if my voice sounds a little off, I'm a bit sick right now, but we're gonna power through. Let's get right into it. Arizona will be making an alliance with Arkansas, so Arkansas will be joining the Pink Alliance. Delaware will be facing a rebellion. So this rebellion will be in the old territories that used to be part of Maryland, that are now part of Delaware. They will rebel from Delaware, demanding to be joined back up with Maryland. Maryland will actually join in and start helping this rebellion out. And because Delaware refuses to get the rebellion independence, all of Delaware will be invaded by Maryland, and Maryland will make the decision to eliminate Delaware off of the map. Alaska will be invading south. So the state to the south of Alaska is actually Hawaii. So I guess we're going to just be using this little thing to show this war. Alaska will start by making landings on the smaller islands at the end of the island chain, hoping to island hop their way up to the two most important islands, which are this one and this one. And so they will make a landing here, and Hawaii is getting its navy ready because it has a majority of what used to be the U.S.'s navy, so it has probably the strongest navy in the country. And so although Alaska got the head start, invading 4 of Hawaii's islands, Hawaii will be able to get them back, quickly taking back all of their islands and sending ships up into Alaska, landing on this island over here, and from there establishing naval superiority across the entire coast of Alaska before making landings all across Alaska's panhandle over here, taking it, and then making a landing in Anchorage. Although Hawaii's navy is really good, its army isn't, so once it gets the coast, it kind of agrees to... Alaska surrenders to Hawaii, and we'll see what that looks like. And this is what that looks like. Maryland will invade south. So what happens here is Virginia tries to scam Maryland. They say they're going to sell Maryland this little bit of land over here, and Maryland gives them the money, and then Virginia goes back on their deal, and Maryland is really upset about that, and they will start invading into Virginia, specifically into this peninsula. The thing is that obviously Virginia is significantly stronger than Maryland, and so they will send their forces into Maryland, and Maryland will not be able to resist this very harshly, as well as Ohio, West Virginia helping them out. However, Maryland's dismay, no other states are going to help them out. They were sure that other states would. They finished conquering this peninsula, but it's too late, as Virginia makes a landing on the peninsula to retake it and start another invasion into Maryland. And unfortunately for Maryland, they are not going to be able to survive this, as their entire state is taken. They thought that Pennsylvania and New York would help them out, but they both sat idly by. And as you can see, Maryland has been divided up. Montana will be making an alliance with Minnesota. The thing is, Montana and Minnesota are already in an alliance, so what actually happens is that they both agree to leave the Pink Alliance and reform the Orange Alliance, and they'll be quickly joined in on that by Illinois, who is kind of the leader of this. And the idea of the Orange Alliance is that they think the Pink Alliance is getting too strong, but the Green Alliance is also too strong, and so they want to kind of make sure that neither the Green nor Pink Alliance will take over the country, because they're pretty certain a war is going to break out between them. They're trying to keep both of these alliances weak. Importantly, Alaska will also join the Orange Alliance, because they've wanted an alliance for protection that they didn't think was just about the big states dominating the small states. And a similar thing will cause Pennsylvania to also join the Orange Alliance. Iowa, who has really close relations with Illinois, will also join it. Virginia will invade Southwest. So seeing that the Orange Alliance is growing very quickly and that Georgia was planning to join it, Virginia will declare war on Georgia so that they can hopefully destroy Georgia before it joins the Orange Alliance. The Orange Alliance will condemn this, but will not join in on Georgia's side because they don't want to get into a war with the Pink Alliance right now. And so Virginia will send their troops into Georgia. And although Georgia is one of the stronger states in the country, they're not really going to be able to stand up to this, as no states really want to take Georgia's side. They're probably the most unpopular state in the country right now, even though they don't really have a reason to be. And so Arkansas will also start invading into Georgia, And Georgia was focused on the border with Virginia, so they don't really care about the Arkansas invasion, but that does allow for Arkansas to invade them pretty efficiently. And of course, just to make things worse, Florida will also join in on this war against Georgia, invading west to border Texas and then starting an invasion up north. And Georgia realizes there is no hope, so they decide to surrender to all parties in the hopes that they'll be able to keep their state, and hopefully they'll just lose a little bit of territory. And this is what the new borders look like. Virginia has expanded a lot in this episode. Georgia, after this, will officially join the Orange Alliance. New York will unite east. So this is a kind of a minor event, but Maine was already a puppet state of New York, so it just makes sense that New York and Maine would eventually just unite into one state. The puppet government of Maine obviously agrees to this. So now we've got New York, Maine as one state, which is probably the best thing that could have happened to Maine, honestly. Oregon will be invading south. So in the most surprising turn of events possible, Oregon will be betraying their former ally in California, first by switching from the Pink Alliance to the Green Alliance, and then invading into the northern parts of California, with Nevada, Idaho joining in as well. Obviously, the Pink Alliance will start to come to the aid of California, with Arizona and Colorado both invading into Nevada, Idaho to try and help out California. But California doesn't really want this to extend into a massive war. This is not how they planned on this war starting. They had basically had everything planned out on how they would destroy the Green Alliance. And so they basically frantically get everyone to basically agree that borders don't change. So Oregon gets to join the Green Alliance without California having any retribution, and California has basically negotiated an end to this war. Arkansas will be invading northwest. So the state to the northwest of Arkansas is Kansas, and Kansas is one of the last states in the country that isn't part of an alliance. And so although Arkansas is the first state to start invading, they're shortly joined in on by Colorado, who will just start demolishing Kansas. And the Orange Alliance will take a long time of deliberation before they decide that the correct course of action to take is to also join in on this war. Invading into Kansas, and the reason that they want to invade into Kansas is so they can take as much land as possible to prevent the Pink Alliance from getting it, as their goal in this war has always been to limit the power of the Pink and Green Alliances. Texas, being one of the last unaligned states, will join in on their own and start invading into the Oklahoman parts of Kansas. And Kansas realizes they are screwed, but their government refuses to surrender. And their government is eventually voted out of office in favor of one that will surrender. And the Pink Alliance will actually be the one to accept the surrender, while the Orange Alliance, which is mostly Iowan troops, but there are other troops invading, as well as Texas, will refuse the surrender. Eventually, a deal is made out with Iowa, in which Kansas will end up joining the Orange Alliance, and Texas eventually comes up with the deal as well. So let's see what all this looks like. And this is what the new borders look like. Last event of this episode, New York, Maine will be making an alliance with Indiana, with Georgia. So in a surprising turn of events, New York, Maine will end up leaving the Green Alliance and joining the Orange Alliance with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is actually the state that wanted this to happen, despite how much they hate New York, Maine. They figure being in an alliance with New York, Maine is better than being invaded by them. And it also strengthens the Orange Alliance in the east. However, New York, Maine is a strong state, which the Orange Alliance didn't want. But they're fine having a strong state to counterbalance all of the Pink and Green Alliance. But now the Green Alliance is starting to become very weak. And they asked Texas, Florida, and Wisconsin, the only 3 unaligned states, actually Hawaii is also unaligned, to join their alliance, and no one's willing to join the Green Alliance. But also, the unaligned states don't join any alliances. So that's the end of the episode. Comment down below which state you think is going to win. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.